Hey everyone, how we doing today? This is James Sweeney, aka Split Suit, and today I want to look at a quick hand posted in the Red Chip Poker forums. This was posted by T Fazio, and in this hand there's an open from the cutoff. Hero decides to 3-bet on the button with Ace Jack offsuit, and the cutoff in this situation is a 29-26 over 38 hands, and I'm totally okay with this 3. However, T Fazio says that he 3-bet here as a bluff. I would definitely change that mindset and say that this is a little bit closer to value. If you think about the kind of hands that he's opening from the cutoff, obviously I expect him to be opening a pretty wide range of hands. He's probably stealing with some junk in there, I'd imagine. And when he continues, I think that he is continuing with hands that we do okay against. Sure, we're going to be crushed by things like ace queen, ace king, and pocket kings, but that makes up such a small percentage of not only the range he's opening right this moment, but also the range he's going to continue with. I expect that he's probably going to continue with hands that we dominate, and that's both on the ace x, maybe like ace 10 or ace 9 suited, on the jack as far as king jack suited and stuff like that. So overall, I'm expecting that we're going to be doing just fine. This isn't like sick, huge value like a 3-bet with aces or anything, but it's certainly on the value side of the spectrum. So the cutoff calls our 3-bet. We end up flopping nothing on a king 5-4 board with a flush draw. He checks, and Hero's question is, after 3-betting and getting called, should he continuation bet or not? So let's talk about that for a moment. So whenever I'm doing explorative work off the table, I really like to use Flopzilla. This is a great piece of software if you don't already own it. And what we can do is plug in our hole cards. We plug in the board, which is that king 5-4 board, and then let's also assign the range that we think villain has. And remember, this is the range of hands that we think he would steal with and call our 3-bet with out of position and check the flop with. So let's assume that he's going to do that with a range like this. We're going to get rid of the super strong stuff. Let's assume he probably would have gone for a 4-bet. Maybe we'll get rid of jacks as well. Let's give him probably 8s and 7s, maybe some king jack, maybe some stuff like jack 10 suited, ace 10, and let's do king 10 suited. So that's probably a relatively fair range. If you disagree, or you think it's wider, or you think it's tighter, just plug your own range into Flopzilla and explore it and go from there. So this is the range that I would assign in a situation like this. What I like to do is see how often he's catching pairs, and what I'm really trying to figure out is, okay, how often do I think he's realistically going to fold? So in this situation, if I assume that he's going to continue with any pair 7s or higher, that he's going to continue with flush draws, not that there's very many of them, and that he's going to fold things like naked ace high and just complete garbage like queen jack off, then I can see that he's continuing 60% of the time, which means he's folding 40%. And what we can do with that information is compare that to our bet size. So if we were to bet for, say, half pot in this situation, we need him to fold at least 33% of the time. So if we think that we could bet that and he's going to fold 40, we only need him to fold 33, so obviously that's a good situation for us. So the main focus is really what's our opponent's range of hands and how do we think he's going to continue if we do decide to bet. If we think he's going to fold everything except for pairs or better in this situation, I'm totally happy throwing out something like a half potter and just trying to get him to fold. This is a board that we certainly could have hit on. This is a board that I think he's going to probably fold a decent amount of things, especially if you think that he has these kind of like double Broadway type hands that he's just going to hate life with, and that's obviously a great thing for us. Whereas if you thought that he called the 3-bet a little bit stronger, then all of a sudden there's fewer things that are going to fold, and that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind. So the question, as always, is what's my opponent's range? What kind of mistakes do I think he's going to make? Do I think he's going to fold enough when I'm bluffing? And if you want to go a little bit more advanced than that, you could also ask yourself, okay, well, if he won't fold enough now, like say he's going to always continue with something like 8s, could I get him to fold later, right? That's a big important consideration. So there's a lot of things that go into this, but at least getting started by exploring ranges in Flopzilla and seeing how they hit on certain textures, especially common ones like Broadway low-low, it's very important that you get familiar with understanding how ranges hit and, again, understanding whether or not you can probably generate that fold or not. So T Fazio, thanks for posting this awesome hand, and hopefully this gets you started when you start doing your own explorative work off the table, hopefully with Flopzilla. And if you or anyone else has a poker-related hand or question, just pop it over in the forums. If you don't already have an account, it takes like 2 seconds to create one. Join in the conversations, and we'll get to any questions or any hands that you post as soon as we possibly can. So same as always, if you need anything, just let me know. Otherwise, good luck out there, and happy grinding.